I think your tenure as Secretary of Defense has been shameful and weak, and you should resign. General Kane, one last question for you. Should soldiers have to pledge political loyalty to participate in an event with our Commander-in-Chief? Yes or no, please.
Sir, I'm not, first, no. I'm not aware of any time in history that soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines have been asked to do that. I think,
I'm sorry, General, I do want to, just in the interest of time, I want to talk about what happened at Fort Bragg 2 days ago. There was guidance put out, and this has been verified by multiple independent news outlets, saying, quote, these are to the soldiers of the 18th Airborne Corps and the U.S. Army. If soldiers have political views that are in opposition to the current administration, then they need to speak with their leadership and get swapped out. This is swapped out of the event with the president. In addition, in an incredibly disturbing incident, there was a pop-up shop selling MAGA merchandise on post at Fort Bragg. And to summarize this, there was a commander from Bragg who said on the record, quote, "This has been a bad week for the Army, for anyone who cares about us being a neutral institution. This was shameful." If those are the facts, and I know the Army is investigating at least the MAGA pop-up shop, is that appropriate, General Kane?
Sir, I haven't seen any of these reports. I'm not familiar with them, but as I mentioned earlier and in my confirmation hearing, the nation demands a apolitical, nonpartisan military.
I appreciate you saying that and happy to share those reports. Secretary Hegseth, are you familiar with DoD Directive 1344.10? Political activities of the members of the armed forces?
Well, first off, I don't buy into your insinuation that pledges are being done under this administration. That's
I reclaim my time. Are you familiar with this DoD directive?
There's never one time in my service or in this Defense Department.
Will you please answer
I'm answering your
these
question
questions.
Where politics has been considered for service members.
Are you familiar with this directive? Yes or no?
Which directive?
DoD Directive 1344.10. I'm happy to provide you a copy. There's even a one-page red and green cheat sheet. Are you familiar with it? This is the same directive from when we were all in uniform.
I'm sure I am.
Has anything changed in that directive under your guidance, given what happened 2 days ago at Fort Bragg? Is there a new policy change that we're not aware of?
Again, I totally reject your insinuation.
Is there a policy change to DoD Directive 1344.10?
I know what you're attempting to insinuate, but there's no policy change and there is no policy.
Mr. Secretary, have you ever worn a MAGA hat in front of the troops?
I own plenty of MAGA hats, but I don't.
Have you ever worn one in front of the troops at an official event? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Do you think it's appropriate for the President of the United States to wear political merchandise, including a MAGA hat, at official events, including West Point commencement?
The Commander-in-Chief
yes or no?
Can wear whatever hat he wants, to include the phrase, "Make America Great Again," because I would like to make America great again as well.
So you think that's appropriate?
The Commander-in-Chief has the right in front of his troops to wear whatever he'd like.
Okay, I strongly disagree with you. And I urge you both, especially you, General Kane, as we see an increasingly political rhetoric, including from the Secretary, to please, for the good of our troops, this is an incredibly difficult moment, and we need leaders like you to continue to echo the apolitical nature. I have 12 seconds. Mr. Secretary, I don't say this lightly. I have to say this on the record. I think your tenure as Secretary of Defense has been shameful and weak, and you should resign.
What we just witnessed wasn't a normal back and forth in Washington. It was a rare moment when someone in power spoke with raw honesty directly to the face of a cabinet-level official and refused to back down. Pat Ryan didn't just raise questions, he forced Secretary Pete Hegseth to confront a fundamental issue. Should the US military ever be politicized or forced into partisan loyalty? From the start, Ryan built his case methodically, asking General Kane about pledges of loyalty, confirming that in decades of service, the answer was always no, and laying the groundwork that the military must remain apolitical. Then he brought, in the disturbing events at Fort Bragg, guidance telling soldiers with differing political views to step aside, and a MAGA merchandise shop right on base. The implication was clear. This wasn't just poor optics. This was a direct challenge to the military's sacred role as a neutral, non-partisan institution. When Ryan pressed Hegseth on the DoD directive that explicitly bars political activity, Hegseth dodged, deflected, and refused to admit to any policy change. Instead, he leaned on partisan rhetoric, defending the president's choice to wear political merchandise in front of troops, something that sent shockwaves through the room. By the time Ryan reached his closing seconds, the tension had built to a breaking point. With no hesitation, he looked Hegseth in the face and said what few in Congress ever dare to say on the record: "You should resign." That sentence hit harder than any policy memo because it came from a place of conviction and deep concern for the integrity of the armed forces. For anyone watching, this wasn't about left versus right. It was about whether the military belongs to the Constitution or to a political movement. And that's why this exchange matters far beyond the walls of Congress. Because if partisan loyalty ever becomes a requirement for service, the very foundation of democracy begins to crack. Ryan's words are a warning shot to every American. Pay attention, because the line between patriotism and politics is being tested right now. And if you want more raw and unfiltered moments like this broken down in real time, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and stick with me for the next reaction. This is just the beginning.